There are public figures today, yesterday, and the day before predicting and all but calling for mass violence and rioting in the streets.
Obviously, Republicans, I think, are the biggest threat to democracy. We don't separate right-wing extremists and Republican Party anymore. Republicans, I think, are the biggest threat to democracy. We don't separate right-wing extremists and Republican Party anymore. Republicans are the biggest threat to democracy.
This means war. That is where we are. We are at war with these people. These
We are at war, says the Democrats, and yes, we are. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. If you're on X, if you're on YouTube, if you're on the preparedmind.club, our flagship channel, and of course, subscribestar.com, I want to thank you all for showing up to watch live. It's 4:30 every day, Eastern Standard Time, to finish the day up, to cover the highlights and the lowlights, if you will. Judges everywhere. The war that they've started is legal. But you heard Joe Biden there saying that the violence in the streets, it's coming from the Democrats calling for violence. We'll talk about that some more. I want to know what you want to talk about, though. Questions, comments in the comments and questions section. Mr. Uman, he'll get in there and he'll gobble up the good ones, put them on a list, and we'll put them on the screen and make you famous. That's right. Thousands of people will watch all of these videos in time. And they'll go into the comments section because comments typically, that's where the gold is. Anyways, here we are, folks. It is showtime. It is Tuesday. It is, February 11th. And we have more judicial insurrection happening right now. Lawfare. Unruly, unconstitutional judges. What's happened now, you ask? Well, a federal judge, and you can guess who appointed this judge. Not Trump, not a Republican. This judge orders the Trump administration to reinstate, restart, open up, turn on the gender ideology websites. What it is doctors have complained. Doctors have complained that lives are at risk. Lives are at stake. I don't care what any doctor says anymore. I don't care. There were more lives at stake over the Cerveza bug lockdowns, over the Jim Jones juice mandates. A lot more lives lost than there will be over gender ideology. In fact, doctors are being sued now for saying, well, would you rather have a living trans child or would you rather have them commit suicide? Yeah, folks, that's where we're at here. If doctors want gender ideology websites, go right ahead. Nobody is stopping them. They can put up their own gender ideology websites, their own gender ideology and psychology websites. What I don't understand is why they think this is a taxpayer and government responsibility. This is another order the judge should get the bird from Trump on, period. It's not my responsibility to do it or pay for it. It's not the government's. And I really feel and believe, folks, that this is all they have. Idiotic, rogue judges overstepping their constitutional authority, and they are actually putting themselves in a position to be sanctioned, to be disbarred, to be impeached. In fact, Republican Representative Eli Crane, I think he is a former Navy SEAL. He has drafted articles of impeachment against the Obama appointee in the judicial seat, Paul Engelmeyer. He started this. Judge Engelmeyer says if Trump doesn't do what he wants, then he is going to have Trump arrested. Really? Try it. So I'm glad Eli Crane is drafting articles of impeachment. I don't think it takes an impeachment. I don't. There's a clause in the Constitution that says judges sit in times of good behavior. Judges telling the chief executive what he can do and what he can't do with his executive power and the executive branch of the government. They don't have any more control over Trump and his authority than Trump has over telling judges what to do in their courtrooms. Think about it. Think about it. Can a judge tell a general how to handle a battle on the battlefield? Can a judge tell Congress how to propose legislation? Can the legislature tell judges how their courtrooms work? Right? It's insane to think that these judges have any authority over Trump. Especially, folks, especially after Joe Biden absolutely refused to listen to the Supreme Court. And he kept trying and trying and trying to forgive student loan debt. Now, I think there's a difference between executive authority and the president acting like he's a bank and giving everyone else's money away. Crazy world, folks. Well, Speaker of the House, Maggot Mike Johnson, he decided to take a shot, fire a missile, if you will, at the Democrat hypocrites because they were screaming and yelling about the rule of law. Okay. Right? They were cheering. They were applauding. They were hip hip hooraying Biden over his 4 years of lawlessness and disobedience to the Constitution. Now they want to scream, rule of law, rule of law, rule of law. They want to act like they know the rule of law and like they know and care about the Constitution. So, okay, Maggot Mike Johnson, now do what the Democrats did and expel the Democrat Congress freaks who are overstepping their bounds and threatening people. Remember George Santos? He was expelled from Congress. He was the Republican congressman from New York who was expelled from Congress for what? I think he claimed to be Jewish. Something absolutely ridiculous. They threw him out of fucking Congress. Adam Schiff lies about the president repeatedly to get him impeached. He got a censor. Ayanna Pressley is a Democrat in Congress, a complete racist scumbag. The bitch Crockett is a complete scumbag and liar. Why aren't they being censured and expelled? Expelled. Get them out. Done. Forever. Hasta la vista. It needs to happen, but it's not happening, folks. I am tired now. Now, look. Trump came in. He did what he needed to do. He got Doge going, and they started discovering all of the fraud. Great. We have exposed the fraud. We know who the players are. Now it's time to make some fucking arrests. I'm not the only one calling for it. All across social media, we want arrests. Like the bitch in charge of FEMA and her 3 acolytes. They spent, was it $57 million putting illegal immigrants with FEMA money into luxury hotels at $700 a night. And then telling the people of North Carolina, we don't have any money for you. Telling the people of California, we don't have any money for you. The people of Florida, no money for you. People of Maui got no money. $750 if you qualified. But they've got $57 million. And not only did she do that, but she did it against directives, orders, commands, the rules. She should be arrested for fraud. arrested for fraud. She just did that last week after Trump's order, his executive mandate. Crazy shit, folks. She should be arrested. Plus, she looks like a complete and total bitch. Now, the judges, they're starting to feel the backlash and the heat. Biden's pig of a judge, the one who restricted all access to the Treasury's payment system, even to the Secretary of the Treasury. Well, she decided she needed to revise her restriction. She doesn't have any authority, and I don't understand why anyone's listening to her as a judge. Plus, she looks like a fucking pig. She bans only Doge, but Treasury leadership is exempted from her order. She has zero authority. She should be served with papers by Trump. The Trump administration should be suing these judges for legislating from the bench, for being acting as executives from the bench. They're just judges. That's all they are. All a judge is supposed to do is decide if something is constitutional or not. That's it. They don't have the authority to tell others what to do. Now, I know that, yeah, we want judges to stop bad actions, and that's telling people what to do. But when you look at someone else and go, what you're doing is unconstitutional and therefore wrong, and you must stop. Right? Their complaints about Doge and Trump is, well, that's not nice, and people need their jobs. One judge gave someone their job back that Trump fired him for. In fact, a lot of people lost their jobs. And the government says, or a judge says, you get your jobs back. So you know what Trump did? He said, oh, yeah, you got your jobs, do you? Well, you're locked out of the building now. I don't have to let you in the fucking building. Right? This is crazy. President Trump said that FEMA is under review and investigation because of the $59 million they spent on illegal hotels. Is it 59 or 57? I keep seeing both. Hard to keep track, folks. What Trump did say, though, is FEMA should be terminated. I couldn't agree more. What has FEMA ever done that Trump didn't do all by himself on his own without FEMA's help as soon as he became president? Same with J.D. Vance. With respect to terminating the entire FEMA organization, no more talk, Mr. President, just do it. FEMA hasn't helped Americans. FEMA has only helped illegals. FEMA intercepted charitable donations. FEMA intercepted equipment, food, water, tractors. They stopped people from building bridges to rescue others. It was just unconscionable what these FEMA fucks did to Americans. I don't think terminated, yeah. I just don't think that is adequate. I think they deserve a lot worse than to be terminated. Now, Doge is still doing what it's supposed to be doing. In fact, a lot of people are saying that by the time the Department of Government Efficiency does its job, we will have a balanced budget. That to me is incredible. Right? We need to cut all the fraud, waste, bribery, buyouts, extortion money, racket money. All that needs to be done. And they still need to cut the federal budget even more. Now, Doge today found $168,000. That sounds paltry compared to, well, trillions of dollars, billions of dollars, or even millions of dollars. 168,000. What was this money for? A museum exhibit for Dr. Anthony Grouchy Fauci. $168,000 for an exhibit. What are they going to do? Put the needle on display that he used to inject beagles with drugs while he experimented on them. The man's a sick bastard. Anyways, Trump immediately terminated that contract for a Fauci exhibit. Fauci needs to be prosecuted for his crimes and the murders that resulted as a consequence of the decisions being made out there. Folks, I don't trust doctors. I don't trust pharmaceutical companies. I don't trust hospitals. I certainly don't trust nurses because of what's been done. How do you feel about doctors and nurses? How do you feel about pharmaceutical companies? How do you feel about the National Institutes of Health, which need to be shut down? They need to be defunded. The CDC, what's it done? What has the CDC done besides trying to destroy American culture and society and our economy? Name it. I'm sure they've done something. I just don't know what the fuck it is. Anyways, folks, what's on your mind? What do you want to talk about? Get it down into the comments. Mr. Ooman is there, and he's going to pick up what you have to say, and we'll talk about it in the second half of the hour. There needs to be some big shoes to drop. There needs to be some fucking arrests. And I am sick of Adam Schiff. He is one of the biggest pieces of shit. He's a fucking hypocrite. He's a liar. He should have been expelled from Congress. Now he's in the Senate lying. And if there's a TV camera on anywhere, he's running to it to continue to lie and demonstrate his hypocrisy. But I guess there's a lot of Democrats out there that are just that stupid. They're that stupid, folks. They'll believe anything that's said to them. You know, there's no morality or decency in DC. In fact, the top ethics czar, if you can believe that there's some person in DC, Washington, DC, that's polluted with Democrat lawyers, socialists, communists, that they have someone called an ethics czar. Well, Trump today fired the top ethics czar. Supposedly, this person is responsible for oversight of the executive branch and its ethics. Well, shithead Schiff, since we were talking about him, ran to the television and said, this man was going to file papers and Trump fired him today. Actually, Trump fired him Friday, long before any questions came up. Questions about Elon Musk, for example. In other words, the lying is continuing. The serial, censored, lying sack of shit, Schiff, is an expert on ethics now. The jokes write themselves. A man who lied his ass off demonstrably to the American people was censured for it, which is just short of being expelled in Congress, runs to TV over a piece of shit bureaucrat who's been fired for his wrongdoings, and then claims, right, that it wasn't the right thing to do and that you know, Trump is bad. This coming from a serial liar. You cannot write these jokes. They do it for us. They literally do it for us. In fact, when it comes to what's going on with Congress, they need to be expelled. I told Maggot Mike Johnson just earlier with you guys, start expelling people from Congress, making calls for violence. We now have another Democrat congressman who said we need a, quote, street fight to stop President Trump and Elon Musk from cutting spending. This is encouraging violence directly. This is encouraging real violence. And Uman says X is not live. Well, I tell you what, that'd be Jolene's fault. She did not hit the X button. That's it. She's in the doghouse now. Everyone on X is probably going to be pissed. Well, we'll have to release it on X later. We'll send her a message, Uman, and say, hey, we got to get this sent over to X and broadcast there. Anyways, back to this piece of shit congressman. They're directly encouraging violence. It's coming. Look, Democrat bitches, bring it. We're all ready for you. You can't scare us with violence. We're ready. You can't scare us with your lawsuits. We understand the Constitution. You can't scare us with your bullshit. Right? You're not in charge. The FBI is being dismantled and new leadership is coming. I want arrests. Everybody on the internet, arrests. Hell, fuck, even Elon Musk is yelling for arrests. It needs to happen. And speaking of cutting spending, they want us to stop spending or stop cutting spending. What is the spending doing? How is it helping any of us? All the money taken in does is go into these bureaucracies to make sure they have jobs and pensions and medical benefits and retirements and vacation. And of course, they get their kickbacks. Oh, mark my words. If they have a chance to control, to say whether you or you gets money, they'll say to you and you and you're going to make a donation to my charitable foundation. You're going to make a donation to my charitable, corporation, my charity of choice. These are some sick fucks, people. Sick fucks. In fact, when you talk about sick, they're sick. Another Democrat was shooting his mouth off, right? He was flapping his soup cooler in the wind in Congress, and guess what happened to him? He had a medical malfunction. For nearly a minute, he just froze. Running his mouth about Republicans, blah, blah, blah. John Larson, Democrat piece of shit. I guess the cat had the asshole's tongue, huh? He did a Mitch McConnell and just froze up, couldn't do nothing. I'm telling you, folks, these Jim Jones juice shots are having an effect. I think all Democrats need to get 2 or 3 more because they're safe and effective. I guess, if your idea of safe is killing people, they ought to take more. They ought to take more. I've got some information that I think is really positive news, positive information I wanted to share. Google said that they're going to eliminate Pride Month from their calendar app. Good. I don't want on my calendar app in Google Pride Month. Who gives a fuck? I don't want any holidays except, Christmas, Easter, not spring break, Thanksgiving, Halloween. Sure, put Halloween on there. New Year's Day. There you go. 4th of July. How about that? Veterans Day. You bet. But Pride Month? Well, folks, don't get all soft and gushy and think that Google's on our side. Don't do it. Don't make a mistake. Don't let your guard down. Google would kill you if they could. They would rape your kids if they could. They would steal your money out of your bank accounts if they could get away with it. All they are trying to do is take the spotlight off of themselves so they don't get canceled, and they need to be canceled. Elon Musk needs to start his own search engine. Elon Musk needs to have his own phone. He needs to get something so we have an alternative to these information whores out there who find out everything they can about us and then screw us over. Trust me, folks. They're trying to use all the information they get on our phones and our computers. They want all the information so they can try and lie to us more effectively. And you know what's amazing? It's not working, is it? It's not working. They keep lying, and we keep saying, we don't want to fucking hear your lies anymore. I think it's great. They keep pushing their woke shit. No one gives a fuck. No one wants to hear it. We're done with it, right? We're done with the lies. It is time for arrests. In fact, Tom Homan, border czar, the northern border, the southern border, the coastal borders. Tom Homan has confirmed that Immigrations and Custom Enforcement had leaks on their ongoing operations to capture violent, illegal immigrants. And the criminal investigation is underway. And guess what? He said on television it's pointing to the FBI, which has now been called by others in government corrupt. It is corrupt. Tom Homan said, quote, not only will this person lose their job and lose their pension, they're going to go to jail. Good. I want this person arrested in a very, very, very public manner. And if anyone else was privy to that, knew that that was happening, knew that this person was leaking the information, they too should be held responsible. You're not allowed to allow crime to happen and get away with it. I am sick of this shit. I am absolutely sick of this shit. I want these fucking arrests to happen. Do you? Have you had enough of this? I tell you. The Democrats, in fact, another nitwit Democrat congresswoman has come out, and their strategy is, here's the quote, we have to fuck Trump. That's their strategy. That's what they got. They've got, folks, they really have nothing. They don't have executive authority. That's Trump's job. They don't have legislative authority. That's the Republicans in Congress who aren't doing enough, and the Republicans in the Senate who aren't doing enough, in my opinion. So they're trying to control the judiciary through Democrat partisan appointed judges. Once again, they need to be impeached. There needs to be a standard by which all judges can be judged. In fact, isn't that a Bible thing? Judge not, lest ye be judged. Well, these judges judge every single day, and it's about time they get judged by us. It needs to happen. Are you guys with me? Are you contacting congressmen and senators and the White House with emails, message apps, right? Congressional links through the internet? Are you calling them on the phone and telling them, restore our Constitution, restore our republic, get rid of bureaucracy, and impeach judges? Please. Please. We've got internet problems here in the great state of Florida, by the way. It's just been a bitch. I'm lucky we got the show started, I guess. Just a big fat wow. Let's do this. Let's flip over, if we shall, to the inner circle and take your questions. And we're back. And another great shirt provided by Chin Music. Once again, a size or two too small, so I had to cut the sleeves out. But hey, it works. All right. Uman says we got some great questions, even though we've got technical difficulties. We are going completely wireless on all our communications right now. We're a little bit crippled, but we're still operating. Mr. Uman, who wants to step up first? And it is Mr. Mikey G. And he says, howdy doody, Prepared Mind family. Flu City here. Even the schools are closed. An estimated 40% of students. Apparently a weak strain with quick recovery. Interesting. Mikey G, did you have that fog there? This chemical fog that a lot of people have been talking about, I'm curious about it. I'm curious about this fog and claims that it's making people sick and that they're spraying the living shit out of the air. Well, they were until apparently Doge found their money that Congress approved through their omnibus bullshit to stuff this crap in the air. Did Congress do that? Someone did it. Congress knew about it, and Congress fucking lied. I'm so sick of these fucking people lying to us. Trump, as much as Trump is doing, and I'll tell you what, I absolutely support everything he's doing. As much as he's doing, I now want more. I can't keep up with it, right? I was listening to Tom Luongo today, who is a political specialist, a geopolitical specialist, an investment guy, yada, yada, yada. A really smart fellow, very famous, syndicated columnist. But he was saying, I can't keep up. And he was making a joke, hey, Trump, just slow it down a little so we can keep up. Even that guy, Tom Luongo, who is, right, spends his entire day in front of the news, absorbing, digesting, and writing commentary. Even he said it's crazy fast, but it needs to keep going, in my opinion, and his also. He says, I'll try and find a way to keep up. Keep doing this. We need to keep the Democrats on their heels, screaming and yelling at us. Great, but they're going to get violent, folks. If they don't freeze up and just fall right over, catatonic, they're going to become bloodthirsty zombies at some point. And I'm ready for them. Ready for them. Any day now. Go ahead, guys. Try it. Try it in the state of Florida. You're not going to like the consequences. Good golly. Went and got another flat top today. Had to get the high and tight back up. Not quite high and tight. 0 to half an inch graduated. Anyways, here we are. Mr. Uman, who wants to step up next, and it is Mr. Chin Music. He says the legislative branch has no personal authority over cabinet-level agencies. Only funding, not personnel. No personnel authority. Correct. Now, the legislative branch, the Senate, was supposed to review the president's, shall we say, executive branch heads, like the chief of staff or say the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense. They're supposed to have a say in that. But actually, that's even not accurate. Originally, all the president did out of a courtesy was let them know who he's selecting. But they've turned it into, well, you need our permission. Well, in any event, the Senate is Republican, and there shouldn't be any fucking problem here, except for the rhinos who need to be primaried. Lisa Murkowski, that's right. Susan Collins, another piece of shit, you bet. Mitch McConnell, if he doesn't die first, he should be primaried. There needs to be a lot more impeachments, but yeah, the legislative branch has no authority over any other personnel, over any of the policies of the president. They have no authority over the executive branch. Now, I mean, remember, I don't like all these executive orders and the government bureaucracies they create, the rules and regulations, the infringements on all of our rights. I don't like any of that. So the more Trump takes down, the happier I am. But the judicial branch has no say either. No say at all over cabinet level agencies. They are without a leg to stand on. So they're just making shit up as they go. They're saying that if Trump doesn't obey these judges, nobody voted for these judges. We voted for Trump. Trump is acting within Article 2 of the Constitution. These chicken shit judges are saying that if Trump doesn't do what we say, we have a situation, a constitutional crisis. Yeah. They want to say there's a constitutional crisis when judges are telling the president what to do and he doesn't obey them. He doesn't have to obey them. He hasn't violated a statute. He hasn't violated the Constitution. Folks, it's going to get ugly. It's going to get nasty. Hide and watch. Literally, hide and watch. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It is interesting, no doubt. May you live in interesting times. But you need to be prepared. You need to be ready. And Yankee Watchdog says, judges trying to justify their paychecks? Well, I'm going to say anybody who is opposed to Trump and the fact that he's exposing fraud, kickbacks, bribes, payouts, money laundering, anyone that wants to argue with that, they are probably involved and they're being controlled. Remember how we talked about control files? Control files on businessmen, politicians, lawyers, corporate big shots. These judges are also dirty and compromised. There was that judge up in Pennsylvania was taking money for stealing children from their families because CPS said, this is a bad parent. We need to take that child. The judge was going to take that child, send him there. And he was getting kickbacks. He was getting paid money. And guess what? Joe Biden pardoned him and let him out of jail. A man who stole children from their families. That's who these Democrats are. No judge is above this, folks. Election judges, Democrat election judges, no less, were arrested this election, and there needs to be a lot more arrests there as well. It's a different type of judge, but a judge nonetheless. They not only need to justify their paychecks, Yankee, they are covering their own asses. They're told, you're going to rule a certain way, or we're going to expose you and your family. You'll be arrested next. It's a complete extortion racketeering scheme. If we haven't learned anything, it's that this is what Washington, D.C. is. It's dirty money controlling people. Once you take a bribe, you always take a bribe, and you will always do as you're told. They may let a couple of these politicians run around and act independent and studly and strong until they get to the end of their leash, and then they're told, you're now going to shut up and you're going to vote and do as you're told. There's a number of congressmen out there that are just like that. They're acting, folks. That's what actors do in the movies and on TV. They're acting like they're conservative, and they're not. As soon as they get a chance, they're going to shit on Trump. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. As soon as they get a chance. What do you think? Do you think all these Republicans in Congress give a shit? Do you think these Republicans in the Senate, do you think they're Trump lovers? Or do you think they're scared to death? Well, hello, Kevin Payson 1111. You are back, and thank you for the great support last night on our Monday edition of Sunday Night Live. I really appreciate that. And he says, oh, good God, this is great. You want to fund government? Perp Walk pay-per-view. Holy shit. You want to talk about driving people to sporting and entertainment venues and bars to watch the Bard pay for Perp Walk pay-per-view? It would be awesome. The government could do that. Hey, they're going to be Perp Walk. Do you want to find out now, or do you want to find out later? You want to have a good laugh with your friends, right? You want to talk about a new national sport instead of this chicken shit bullshit football or bullshit baseball and bullshit basketball and bullshit girls flag football. I saw a part of that fucking commercial. Yeah. You want a sport? It's called Arrest Traitors. And you'll have people cheering and drinking and spending money and unifying America. And be sure and invite all your Democrat friends and family and co-workers to the bar to watch the Perp Walks too. I would love that. That's a great fucking idea. That's almost as good an idea as my idea, which is cage death matches with prison inmates. You want to talk about raising money? Be like the Thunderdome. right? We'll get rid of prisoners because someone's going to fucking die, and the government could make a shit pile of money doing pay-per-view battles to the death with fucking criminals. I've had it with these people. Mikey J says, who are these judges going to get to do the arrests? The bailiffs, maybe? Nope. No. Bailiff won't do shit. These are federal courts. Do they have a federal bailiff system? Because I know in the county level, they use sheriffs, right? Sheriff's deputies. But if a judge issues a bench warrant, right? Some dumbass fucking Democrat prosecutor stands up and goes, Trump has not obeyed the court's command. We ask that he be arrested. You can't arrest Trump. You can't stop Trump. You're just a bunch of fucking yo-yos. So what are they going to do? Yeah, get the sheriff? No. The president cannot be arrested by a sheriff. He hasn't committed a crime. A bench warrant is bullshit. It's basically you're going to have to appear. I'm in all truth, folks, I'm sick of the fucking authority of all government. Local government, county government, state government, federal government. I'm sick of them. Everything they think is we must obey. Government is supposed to obey. Government is supposed to obey us, the rules, the Constitution, not the other way around. Government has some very simple rules, right? And I heard these explained very succinctly, much the way I did by another, someone who's actually so-called legal constitutional expert. The government's role is to protect us, the people, from invasion and foreign criminals and foreign danger. And then domestically, they're supposed to protect us from criminals like robbers, rapists, drug dealers, murderers, illegal invaders who do all sorts of things, right? And then to do what? What else is the government supposed to do? Make sure there's roads, anything that belongs to the public, they're supposed to administrate. Roads, bridges, tunnels, mail system. They're supposed to coin money, not give us paper that's devalued 5, 10, 15% a year, and then tax the ever-loving shit out of us. For what? Right? Government is so overblown. And then it's overlapping layers of government bullshit so high we can barely keep our nose above water. You got layers of jurisdictional crap. City, county, state. They all got different rules. And then, not to mention homeowners associations, huh? I fucking hate those, and I always will. They're run by a bunch of fucking nitwits that think they own everyone else's property. I think HOAs should be disbanded by law. All right. I've had too many people. Ooh, man steps up. Woo! And he says liberals love to scream, quote, separation of church and state. Yet today, they're dragging out the communist Pope in Rome and holding him up as a defender of the migrants. No. They're not migrants. And yes, they're hypocrites, man. They are illegal invaders. They're not even illegal immigrants. They're invaders. Invaders. And I think an illegal immigrant is someone who tried immigrating and did it wrong. Go back to go, start again. These people didn't even try to immigrate. They invaded our fucking country. Now, getting to the Pope. He is a communist. I believe he's a Jesuit communist piece of shit Pope. There's lots of popes I got problems with, folks. There's been some good ones and decent ones. But a lot of popes, including this one, I don't have any love for. Have you seen the wall built around the Vatican? Have you? Have you seen the gates that close off the Vatican City to the public? What we need to do is we need to get, how about the biggest helicopters we've got? CH-46s and 53s. How about Ospreys? Load them to the gills with illegals. fly into Vatican City to St. Peter's Square and let them all out. Is the Pope going to shoot down a helicopter that's only bringing in poor migrants? They're fucking hypocrites. They really are. Democrats are hypocrites. The Pope is a fucking hypocrite. That's the world we're in, folks. People want to talk about the Antichrist. People want to talk about evil. Half the world wants evil. Half the world is screaming for the Antichrist. That would be your Democrats and your socialists and your communists and your fascists out there. The rest of us want freedom and liberty. See, that's all I want to do is live my life. I want to enjoy the fruits of my labor. I want to have relative peace and safety. I want to be able to defend myself, feed myself, care for myself without the government getting involved. I think there's a lot to be said for that. Uman said, folks worry about the small hats. That's the Jews. I worry just as much about the guys in dresses with pointy hats. Wizards? The Pope, that pointy hat? And bishops, they got pointy hats, bishops, and who else has hats that we need to worry about? The guys in dresses, you mean judges? I worry about those fucking people. There's a lot of people out there I don't like. If you are trying to kill me, screw me over, steal my money, fuck up my country, you're bad. That includes Pope and bad clergy. That includes politicians. That includes evil wizards. as well as, let's see, judges and the small hats, right? They're out there, folks. Read the Talmud. Check into the Talmud. You'll find out. Read about all of the evil anti-popes out there. Right? There are a lot of very evil popes that did a lot of evil things. Right? There's no sector in the world that is free of people who've done very, very bad things, evil things. But the point is that we need to, with open eyes, not excuse away those that we like, but rather, right, point out that they're wrong and take them out of power. We've got trouble. We really do. That's why I'll pick on bad cops. There's a lot of them. They need to be eradicated. There needs to be respect for law enforcement. Sadly, the good law enforcement isn't doing or can't do or isn't capable of or is unwilling to do anything about the bad cops. So all we ever hear about is the bad cops. Right? There's good politicians out there that want to do good things, but they're overshadowed by people like jackass Jamie Raskin, or I Shift My Pants Adam Schiff, or 90 Proof Nancy and Chuck Schumer. Right? That's why you'll never hear about the good ones, because all you ever do is hear about the bad ones, because they won't let a camera walk by without jumping on it. Woo! I tell you, folks, one hell of a shit show going on. I hope you're prepared. Do you have your food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, your means of self-defense? Are you prepared for what's coming? I really think the violence is coming. The racist Democrats, the LGBTQ Democrats, they're all pushing for violence. The pro-bankers, the pro-deep staters, they're all pushing for it. They're gunning for Trump and he's gunning for them. I want to be a part of this. The fight for lawful behavior. It's coming. I'm going to have my part in it. You guys will as well. Let's do this. Let's have some more fun. Mr. Uman, who's up next? And we haven't seen you in a while, Mr. Stryker. It's the great Ron Stryker. And he says, did anyone see that the left are posting Boog-style memes about going to war against the conservatives? They have no idea what shitstorm they want to start. Very, very true. I don't think they understand. Most people don't understand what happens when the gloves come off and people lose their shit. It does, and it continues to happen in other countries. They call it genocide, right? They say that that it's an awful thing. Wars used to kill thousands and tens of thousands of people every single day. Now, if we hear about 2 or 3 servicemen getting killed in a conflict, it's very sad. But that's nothing the way it used to be, folks. But in America, with our population density and all the firepower here, if these left-wing lunatic communists, if they want to start a shooting war, it's not going to end very well. And I don't know how it would end. I just know that the person that started it is probably not going to do very well. I tell you, it's a pretty scary topic if you think about it. If you've got people shot dead in the street and you keep hearing it, crack, 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 crack here and there, if you hear it, what are you going to do? Are you going to go out and start burying people? Someone better, right? Is the government going to come along and scoop the bodies up so we can keep killing the bad guys? It's not going to be pretty, folks. It really won't. All right, Mr. Uman, let's have some more fun. And we're down to the last few minutes of the show, and we got Mikey G. And he says it's always been projection with the Democrats. Well, other than their tax and spend. Yes, projection is it's a term used in psychology. That when someone is suffering from a psychological problem or disorder, they tend to accuse others of doing what they are themselves doing. Right? I mean, today it was pretty interesting. Chuck Schumer decided to jump up and stand in front of a microphone and say, I call for whistleblowers who can point out any government corruption out there. Oh, now Chuck Schumer wants to go after corruption? If the government, Democrats and Republicans, did this a year ago, and they actually found this bad person and that bad person that were stealing money and showed them to the public and said, look at what we found. We just saved you $25 million. Everyone would cheer like, yay, we knew there was a bad people and you caught them. That ain't shit compared to what they're finding now. Chuck Schumer, like someone's going to come forward at this point. Essentially what he's probably hoping is for some Democrat, some stooge to make an accusation against a Republican and claim that they're the conspirators, they're the corruption that the world needs to have taken care of. They're fucking idiots. They project onto everyone else what they're doing every single time. Thank you, Mikey G. I appreciate that. And we've got bump, Orlando, my good friend Orlando. I hope everything's going well up north. In fact, Uman, who's up north there in the Chicago area, going to be dealing with snow, ice, cold weather. So Orlando says, John, guess what? Oh, Vince Neil. He would be the Motley Crue singer. Vince Neil's private jet crashed into a plane, killed the pilot and the girlfriend in the hospital. I guess Vince Neil survived. Is it something with these planes now? Unbelievable. Is it the planes? Is it the pilots? Is it the FAA workers, the control towers, the ground crew? Vince Neil wasn't on the plane, it turns out. Sounds like his girlfriend was taking a joyride, if you know what I mean. Wow. Yeah, another jet crash. Boy, Taylor Swift better be careful. You know how these celebrities go down. They go down like Kamala Harris. Fast and often. Hey, that was a good one, man. All right. Let's do one more. Thank you, Orlando, very much for sharing that. That's an interesting thing. We'll continue to watch this. And Kevin Payson checks in. He says, another beautiful day down here by the Gulf of America, United States. And he's laughing. I'm laughing. It's on the maps. Gulf of America. That makes me feel better when I get over to the Gulf side of Florida Instead of calling it the Gulf of Mexico or just the Gulf, it's now fun to call it the Gulf of America. Because you know every single Democrat is just going to cringe, and then cringe some more and bitch and piss and moan. Oh, you bet. That's really all they're good for these days, is just whining and crying and projecting, as duly noted. It is a beautiful day down here in the great state of Florida. There's still fog offshore right here. Still not quite as warm as normal, but it is the winter month. Florida's winter is February, the month of February. That's the Florida February winter season. Oh, good golly. I'm going to go back to the news to finish the show up. It is Taco Tuesday. I hope you are all set to go get some tacos or make your tacos. Make them with real beef. In fact, there was an article out that one of the large cattle ranches that claims they have organic beef, they're actually beef injected with the beef Jim Jones juice. So find out before you buy bad beef, folks, or bad cow, or bad chicken, or bad turkey, or bad pork. Oh, by the way, they killed the radical Muslims. Killed. You know who I'm talking about, the Jihad Joes out there. The Jihad Joes, these clowns. That's right. In Scandinavia, I believe it was Sweden, there was someone who was burning Korans. Well, he ended up getting killed by a gang of Muslims for desecrating their holy book. So the consequences of that, well, people in Sweden are going around and opening Korans and putting slices of bacon in them so that the bacon is hanging out between the pages and then putting them back on the shelves. I found that rather funny. There is nowhere in this world that should have to accept someone else's religion. No, except the religion of peace, right? Now, England has got its problems, folks. Did you know that the choice for the health minister is Ashley Dalton? In England, Ashley Dalton, and this is interesting. She's called for the end of same-sex toilets, but also believes a female can have a penis and people can identify as llamas. That is an array of stupidity and non-intellect and intellect and non-intellect that I can't believe. This is a health minister who obviously doesn't have a grasp on reality. England is hurt, folks. England is fucked up. Did you know that there were 100,000 farmers locking up London with their tractors and protesting? And so Keir Starmer and the King of England decided that they would go somewhere else and just have a party. They don't give a fuck about the people, folks. Identify as llamas. Incredible. Costco. Oh, it's the Costco beef supplier is what Uman heard. Or would that be? That's what I heard. Very good. Yeah, the Costco beef supplier. Is it Harris Beef? I may be Harris Beef. Uman shaking his head. Yes. Harris Beef, who supplies Costco. It is not organic. You need to read the labels. This food labeling thing is going to become an issue. We need RFK Jr. turned loose to go after the chemicals, the poisons and toxins, and everything that makes our food unhealthy and non-nutritious. What a day. It is Tuesday. Tomorrow's hump day. We've got our work cut out, folks. Get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine. Your means of self-defense. Your plan. What do you want to do when things get nasty? You want to run out in the street like everyone else? Confused, scared, unsure of what to do? Or do you want to be certain that you and your family are protected? Chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Semper Fi means always faithful. And God bless America.